Hello, this is Mississippi Diana again, and today's video is about travel. Fat girls can travel. And I suppose fat guys can travel too, but since I'm a girl, I thought I'd talk about fat girls traveling. I'd always dreamed of traveling to exotic lands in my youth. I read about things, I read about places that I wanted to go, and in my 20s I did have opportunities to go to some places, but things came up and I didn't go. But later on, whenever I turned 40, I realized it's now or never. So I was overweight, but being overweight had never really stopped me from doing anything I wanted to do. So I decided I can go places, I can do things. It might be a little more difficult, but I was going to give it a try. I had the right to go, and so I started working up different places that I wanted to go. And this video will incorporate some still shots from some of those trips and show you that fat girl will travel. The first place that I had an opportunity to go to was to New York City. I had never been to the Big Apple, and at that time I was a doll artist, and I designed old world Santa Clauses, and I was selling them all over the country. And I went to New York City in February of that year to the International Toy Fair. I had two of my cousins that went along with me, and we had a great trip. The only thing that was a little difficult was the flight from Memphis to New York was on kind of a small plane, and even though I was about 280 at the time, the seat was tight. It was not easy, and I did learn then that on domestic flights that if you can't get into one seat and you have to have two seats, then you have to pay for two seats. But I was able to squeeze in then. But the rest of the trip was amazing. I had a great time. I was able to walk through it back then, and we went to Chinatown for the Chinese New Year. That was a blast. Times Square, all over the garment district, to the toy fair. We even got on the Gray Line bus and took a tour of New York City during a snowstorm, and it was gorgeous. So I would not give anything for my trip. So here's some of the pictures from my trip to New York City. I hope you enjoy them. My first trip after New York City was a trip to Thailand. A friend and I had made plans to meet there in vacation. And I found out really quickly that on overseas flights, you have a lot more room. Usually after you get in the air, the flight attendants will spread out the passengers so they can be more comfortable, and they can distribute the weight evenly around the plane. So it was great. I enjoyed it, even though it was 12 hours in the air. I loved it. I loved the service. I loved the movies. I loved the music. It was a great trip. um, getting into Bangkok, you know, in the middle of the night, and being whisked by cab to my hotel. It was the enchantment started from the moment I got there. The only trouble that I did have was when we went up into the mountains to Chiang Mai, which was a great place, but we decided to go to Mae Ping to a elephant training camp. Well, they had elephant rides, and I wanted to go, but I was afraid to go by myself. And I noticed the people in front of me were going, a couple of people together on the elephant. And so the person I was with got on the elephant, and then I started to get on the elephant, and the Thai man said, no, no, too much weight, too much weight. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to cry. He was telling me in front of my whole group that I'd come with that I was too large. And so I left the platform and refused to get on the next elephant alone because of my weight. So I missed out on my elephant ride. I do remember that after the elephant ride, we took a trip down the Mae Ping River on a bamboo raft. And I remember asking the same person, are you sure I'm not too large to ride on this raft? Will I sink it? So they laughed and said, no, come here. So that was the only mishap that I had during my whole trip in Thailand, and it was great. So here's some of the pictures I'll share with you from my trip to Thailand. I hope you enjoyed them.